Hello, welcome to my channel. Today, I will show you a 2018 movie titled Flavors of Youth. Kindly watch out and take care. The movie is divided into 3 different storylines. The first is titled Rice Noodles. It begins in an airport in Beijing. A young boy, Xiao Ming, walks out of the airport on a rainy day. He brings out his umbrella, commenting that life is full of memories. And these memories, no matter how minute they are, make or mar us. He thinks of eating rice noodles and remembers the rice noodles he eats with his grandma. While he was a kid, his parents worked, so he spent his mornings with his grandmother alone. Every morning, his grandmother made it a habit to buy him Sanshan rice noodles. The noodles were amazing, handmade, and the toppings were filled and awesome. His morning was made. He would spend his morning gulping in the noodles and the minced meat and egg toppings. The seller was a man that relocated from Beijing. The seller relocated before he was born. The couple didn't talk much, but their rice noodles were the best in the city of Hanan. One day, he watched as the seller and his wife relocated from the city. He wondered what could have been the reason, and while some people claimed it was due to jealousy, some said his former boss called him to Beijing. He resumed middle school, and another rice noodle store opened right by his school. Before going to school, he would visit the rice noodle store, and he would buy some noodles for himself. He sat there to eat. One day, the seller, a woman, asked him if he was a student of the 4th Academy Middle School. The woman said her son was also a student at the school. One of the primary reasons why he stopped by the rice noodle store was to see his crush. She was his senior at school, and he took great joy in watching the glimpse of her hair as she rode by him every day. Unfortunately, the rice noodle store closed down, and they opened a fishing store. His mornings were no longer as excellent as before, but he lived on with the memories of his great mornings. Also, the fishing store wasn't booming as the owner had expected. At school, a student got into a fight with some other students, and he was stabbed. They found out the boy was the son of the noodle seller. As a result, the fishing store also closed. However, when he got to the 3rd year in his middle school, the rice noodle store opened again. The woman was still the owner, and her son helped her. Memories are what makes us all. He concludes as he enters a modern Sanshan rice noodle store to get noodles. He orders his rice noodles and waits for his servings. As he gets his food, he says he loves rice noodles, but the ones he eats recently do not meet his expectations of the ones he ate growing up. The toppings are reduced day by day and are also becoming much more expensive. As he leaves the store, he receives a call from his parent and he takes a plane home. He meets his grandmother on her sickbed. She tells him she won't be able to eat rice noodles with him again. He grieves with her before she gives up the ghost. Depressed, he walks away from him, saying that the memory, despite how sad it is, will one day fade away just like the other memories of his childhood. He stops by the rice noodle store and orders rice noodles. As he eats, some school students side by him, and he remembers the glimpse of his crush's hair. He concludes that there's a future ahead of him, and he's content with it. The second plot of the movie, titled A Little Fashion Show. An orphaned young girl, Yi Lin, right from childhood, loved fashion. She so much embraced the fashion that she would draw and combine clothes for her younger sister, Lulu. She and Lulu become of the same size, and she will never leave her clothes for Lulu. Eventually, she becomes tall. So tall that she's the center of attention. At first, she hated her height. But finally, she realizes that height was all she had and all her parents gave her. She didn't have any talent that makes her stand out. So she decided to take a career in modeling, at least to feed her younger sister Lulu. When she started her modeling career and the first magazine her picture was, she was so excited, especially because it served as a medium for her sister, Lulu, to see her since they lived separately. As time went on, seeing herself in magazines became a normal thing for her. On her birthday, the editor of her present magazine asked her what she thinks about the platform, but she couldn't say anything. As the editor leaves, her manager, Steve, gets angry at her for ignoring an editor like that. Her colleague organizes a mini birthday for her. She's so caught up in the mini birthday that she doesn't remember her sister must have organized something too. Lulu makes cake and prepares a feast for Yi Lin and anticipates her sister's return from work during her mini birthday. A friend comes to her with a pack of flowers. She collects it happily before a young model, Shui Jing, comes to her. Shui Jing says she loves Li Yin and she wants to be like her. She asks Li Yin for some career advice, but Li Yin insists she doesn't have anything to tell Shui Jing. Before Shui Jing leaves, Li Yin's friend removes a piece of flour from the flour he gave Li Yin and gives it to Shui Jing. Also, her friend teases her and says she can't be at the top forever. Li Yin gets angry at this and she takes a lot of alcohol. She gets home with a hangover. She takes a little of her sister's cake before going to bed. Steve sits with Lulu to eat. He apologizes for all of Lulu's stress, but Lulu says caring for her sister isn't stressful as she doesn't know where she would be in life without Li Yin. Li Yin wakes up late the next day. She gets to her fashion audition late and she meets Shui Jing there. Shui Jing comments that she's late before she goes for her audition. As Shui Jing walks towards the hosts, they comment on her elegance, but when Li Yin climbs, they harshly oppose her. On their way home, she gets a message from Shui Jing, where Shui Jing tells her she got the position. Li Yin gets home angry and jealous. She keeps asking herself if she's old now, and she refuses food. Concerned on her behalf, Lulu asks her to eat, but she says she needs to keep herself in shape for the upcoming fashion show. Li Yin pushes herself too much. She doesn't eat, and she also spends all her time at the gym. Unfortunately, during the show, she faints. While in the hospital bed, she dreams about her childhood with her mother and how her mother sews in their presence. As she wakes up, she asks her sister about sewing. She's discharged from the hospital, and she realizes the world has moved on without her. Shui Jing is already in all magazines, so when she returns home, she tells Lulu to teach her how to sew. She says if she finds another means of income, she'll be able to take care of Lulu well. Lulu gets angry and walks out of the house that evening. That is her first fight with her dearest sister, so she asks her manager Steve for help with how to go about her life. Steve advises her not to give up on modeling. He says if she gives up, she will lose her career and her sister. And since she doesn't have a boyfriend, she'll become lonely. She gets angry at him, and he gives her a location and tells her to be there the next day. She thinks about going, and she finds a note from Lulu asking her to go for it. She reaches there that day and meets Lulu there. Lulu gives her a red dress, which is her favorite color. She performs for the show and returns to modeling this time because she loves it. Lulu graduates from fashion school and starts designing clothes for her sister. The siblings at this point get contented with what they do. The third plot on this movie is titled Love in Shanghai. A young boy named Li Mo lives in the center of Shanghai, and he decides to relocate from his relative's house. He packs into a new apartment alongside his best friend, Pan. As he unpacks his load, he sees a design plan of a hotel. He remembers when he presented the design to his boss, but his boss threw it away. That night, he returned home angry at his uncle and packed away. As he continues his offloading, he sees a CD player. He brings it out, and Pan is shocked he still has it. Pan says it was their friend Xiao Yu who gave it to him during their high school examination preparation, and he was about to give it to Li Mo, but he gave it to Li Mo's mother to give it to him. Li Mo realizes he didn't listen to the CD. He runs to check it while he remembers his past with Xiao Yu. As kids, he, Xiao Yu, and Pan were best friends. They would visit him at his grandparents' house, and his grandparents were pleased with Xiao Yu. During one of her visits, she falls off from a construction ground. He backs her home, and they start their master friendship. While she was absent from school, he recorded all the classes for her. They were so close. Towards the end of elementary school, Xiao Yu tells him she will attend Yangpu University affiliate because that was what her parents wished for her. Li Mo doesn't want to miss his love, so he begs her to stay, but she can't go against her parents. Upon getting home, Li Mo's parents ask him about his school choice, and he tells them Xiao Yu is going to Yangpu University. They comment that Xiao Yu is a model student. He tells them he would like to attend the same school too. He takes the form and starts preparing for the entrance examination. He tells Xiao Yu he's just attending a nearby school and instructs Pan not to tell Xiao Yu he plans to attend the same school with her. While preparing, he receives the CD from his mother, but since it was from Pan, he didn't listen to it. He passes his examination and runs to break this news to Xiao Yu. However, he didn't meet her at home. Her neighbor said there was a huge fight between Xiao Yu and her father because Xiao Yu failed her examination. The fight was so severe that Xiao Yu was rushed to the hospital. He relocated to the city the next day without seeing her. Some years later, they met, but the vibe was no longer there. Xiao Yu asked him if he had listened to the CD, but he didn't know about the CD she was talking about. He saw her off that night, and she asked him if it was because of her that he attended Yangpu Affiliate High School. He refuted her accusation and said it was because he wanted to prove himself to his parents. At present, he finds a cassette player and plays the CD. On the CD, Xiao Yu tells him she no longer wants to attend Yangpu Affiliate University High School because she doesn't want to move away from him. He cries as he listens to the CD. Years later, Li Mo is taking care of the new motel. Xiao Yu opens the front door and smiles. At the movie's end, all the characters walk towards the airport and they are fulfilled with the life they are presently living. Thank you for watching the recap. Kindly subscribe to our channel to get notified when we post the next recap. See you next time.